Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda.
Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka, Kenya nchi yenye baraka.
Tumekomboa Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, tumebadili mwendo, tutalinda katiba mpya.
Hello and welcome to Sauti, Mkenya, a show that brings you untold stories of Kenyan immigrants here in the United States. I am your host, Kimani. On today's show, we are honored to have Harrison Kimani, and Harrison Kimani works for Norfolk Southern Railway Corporation. Welcome, Mr. Kimani.
Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I came to this country back 2001, and my mom grew up in an era where my grandfather thought girls are not supposed to go to school. So my mom never stepped in a class in a school, and I remember teaching my mom when I was going to school, teaching my mom how to write her name. But my mom was very dedicated. She was a very strong woman. I come from a single family. I didn't have a father, and she decided to do business. She actually, believe me or not, my mom made what we call moonshine. In America we call it moonshine. In Kenya we call it changa. That's what we sold in Mathare. And I was born in Mathare. 4 years we lived there. I remember my mom would go make changa, and then people would come. We had this house and room, and customers would come in, and then we had small glasses, very small glasses, not like this, but very small. And you knew how much the 5 shillings was, 1 shilling was. 5 shillings was very large, but 1 shilling moonshine, how much it was. Anyway, my mom worked very hard. He put us through school, and there's a time I went through rough time, and I ran away from home, and I was a street boy. And we used to go and collect those. There was some women jelly they used to use for their hair. It was called Shat and Sheen, and we go there, sell those for 2 shillings. They have a bottle. So we started, and I got in a bad crowd. Started sniffing crew, and my mom had enough of it. I remember being locked up in the chief's camp, and that's when my mom decided she's taking us up country. And we had to go to up country, which was another lifestyle. And I'm glad my mom did that. All of us, my brothers, and we went up country, and we attended primary school now up country. She bought a 24 acres there. She was able to build a nice home, and that's why I went to school.
So as a single mother, how was she able to get this money in order to be able to buy property and also
she was very hardworking. I remember my mom was very hardworking. She was selling changa. Remember changa? And she was a wholesaler. I remember one time I was going to school. I was going to school for morning. I was young. I was 9 years old, and I will never forget it. It was on a Sunday. And my mom, we had to supply, because what happened was every morning we had to take the supply to Pumwani area. There were some women there sold. So my mom was a wholesaler, and she would sell a wholesale to the retailers. So and sometimes you had to supply to the retailers. So it was on a Sunday, and she told me to put my uniform on, my school uniform. Pumwani used to have a uniform. I put my uniform, my head. She packed my bag with 2 gallons of changa. And he told me to take it down to Pumwani. So I had to walk from, you know where Mathare is, you walk through Isri, and then you cross over to Pumwani. And I was coming from what they call the Air Force. I came up. I met with these 2 police APs, and they stopped me. They said, "Kijana, unaenda wapi? Today is Sunday." And then I told them I'm going to school. I said, "Kuna shule leo? Nini unabeba?" So they caught me, and I had 2 gallons of changa, and I was delivering them. My mom had, and they took me back to the police station at the chief camp, where I was given cane. And I remember Monday morning, my mom Sunday night came. They called my mom, and my mom said, "No, I don't know who this is." But she was waiting for the chief in the morning. So I finally was able to get out Monday and go back to school. But those are challenges we had. That's how it wasn't easy.
So how did you get out? Did she have to bribe them?
She had to bribe. I know that one. She had to bribe for me to get out in the morning, and life continued until we moved up country. So up country, my mom would stay, and she would make changa. She was able to buy a few houses for rent in the city, and then when she stopped doing that business, and she came back up country, and devoted herself as a farmer now.
So she no longer makes changa?
No, she no longer makes movies. And I had that's where kind of my determination came from. Seeing my mom struggling. I remember telling my mom one day, I don't want to struggle like you did. And I think that gave me motivation to do better. So that's how I was telling you. I think motivation is a good thing for young people. You see things, don't give up. Never give up. You never know your destiny. I was a poor boy in Madara, and I never knew whether I was going to get education or not, but through determination, I was able to.
Tell us about the street life, like on the street.
It wasn't easy. The street life was not easy. I remember when I ran away from home and we go on the Sauti machine, and do you know those garbage trucks in a long time ago from the city council? We used to hang on those, because that's the only way you could get food, when they were going to the dollar. And we hang on those. I remember one time I went to they said it was during Moy, and he wanted all the street boys to come to the State House. And it was very convincing. These guys, they came and convinced us. That's the day I got caught. And my mom...
What had you done? Or the day with the...
I got caught because I had run away from home.
Okay.
And I was a street boy. And my mom wanted me to go back, so that's where you can take up the country. And I remember President Arap Moi had called all the street boys to this white State House, and I went down there. And they gave us bread and milk and everything else, and I think we didn't last more than 2 hours. We were back on the streets again, sniffing crew. And God really helped me come out of that life.
So how did you then transition from that street life to now going to a
My mom was very strong. She came, and once when I was caught, and she got me, and she put me in the car, and we went back to country. And she and my uncle, who was in the army there in Kenya, and she said, "You're not leaving that." So I was told I can only leave grandma. I was not allowed to have money, so I was only allowed to come back in the city to see my mom. My mom came every weekend. We had a house girl. She kept us a very good life up country. And through the seeing up country with my grandpa and my brother was like a model to me, and I think that helped me start, because he told me, if you continue what you continue, you'll be dead. And it's true, a lot of boys that grew up in Madare, I think I was only me and one boy called Jimmy. We were the only survivors today.
Wow.
Yeah, because I tried to keep contact with them, but most of them have died. Some were shot, robbing cars and all that stuff. So it's not an easy life. I'm glad I got on that life.
And glad to be in the United States, right?
Yes. God. Well, back I was in Kenya. I was working with a big corporation for selling insurance. And I decided to prosper and sell more of the packages we had in our company back home. It was called MediPlus. And my boss was very approachable. So I went and told him I have this idea. I came to realize that the tourists who were coming to Kenya, they didn't have what we call the insurance. The insurance company from overseas didn't cover them while they're there. So what they did was stabilize them, and then they'll ship them back to the country for treatment. So I came with this idea: if we have a tourist package, it would be better. And my boss gave me go ahead and structure the tourism package, which I went and contacted the IMF. And I did all the costing and everything. So for us to start, we had to look for the companies where these tourists originate from.
So was that what motivated you to come to the United
That's
States?
what motivated me to come to the United States. I had contact with Mikaro Safaris, which is based in New York, and Bakrobi Kent, which is based in Chicago. We had contacts with them, and they invited me. They gave me the appointments to come and see them here. So that's why I was able to go to the embassy, got the visa, business visa, and I came to this country. I was very ambitious, and I was conducting the business here. But it was a little bit challenging because here I had to come. I was thinking I would come just start driving.
So what was challenging about the whole process?
The whole process became challenging because in America, most of the places you use is you have to use your own transportation. So now I had to rely on public transportation, and also I had to get like taxis. You know, like if when I got flew to New York to see Mikado, I had to find a place. You know, and I had my interview with the Mikado, but I had some challenges because of legalities of regals here. If you're a foreign company trying to do business with them here, there's some things I needed to do before I came here, which I didn't know.
So what were some of those things that you didn't know when you were coming here?
Well, according to the package I was trying to sell, the package was when the tourists arrived in Kenya, and then we covered them after that in case something happened to them when they were on the safaris, and then we'll be able to cover them and take them back to the country of origin or stabilize them in the hospital coverage. Well, I came to realize the demand here, or the laws in America, they wanted to be covered from the time they left there, from their house. So I called my boss back home, and he was distracting that package and trying to see how much figures, because there's some figures we were working with, otherwise we couldn't make profit. And it was unfortunate that it was a month after I was working so hard, driving here and there, and I was actually supporting myself because this was my package I had come up with. And I came to realize my boss decided to run as a minister for Kikuyu. And he lost dramatically, and he used the company finance. Anyway, it's a long story. He's a good friend of mine, but we were not able to pick up again, and the company closed.
So was that what motivated you to come?
That's what motivated. Now that became a hindrance for me now, because I was here in this country. I spent 2 months here trying to sell this package, and I had to make sure it worked. And the person who was hosting me here, I had learned how to finance that I could borrow money from him or her. So I started relying on my own savings from Kenya. And when the time came, I got so mad with my boss because they closed the company, and I was wondering what to do now. I had sold everything I had to make this work. So it wasn't until later the host who I was hosting with, I told them I was going back to Kenya, and they didn't want me to go back to Kenya. They wanted me to try it. And in between, I met somebody, and we fell in love and got married.
So when you came, where did you land first? Did you come directly to Columbus, or where did you?
No, I came to Ohio, the state, but I was in a small town called Mansfield.
Okay.
Yeah, in Mansfield is where I operated from. I also had friends in Boston, so I would go stay with them when I was doing business in New York, because it was easy commute. And then it was easy commute from Mansfield to Chicago. So I can say I stayed in different places, but most of my life I stayed in Mansfield.
Okay. So what kind of work were you doing when you got in Mansfield?
Well, when we got married, it was tough.
Okay.
I'll tell you the truth, and I didn't know where to start again, and I wanted to continue with the insurance. So the insurance, they told me I have to have a certificate.
Okay.
The state here, you have to have a state license to sell insurance. So that encountered me going back to school, and I needed to do something to work as quick as possible. So when I was in Boston with my friends, I seen what they were doing there. Most of them, they were doing nursing and home care. So when I came down here, I decided maybe this is the quickest, because they had told me there, if you do it 2 weeks, you can
if you do nursing.
Yeah,
or
nursing,
home care.
Okay. You can get a license within 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I did call the local in Mansfield, and I got a place, a school where they did that. And they gave me the opportunity. It was a 2 weeks class. It wasn't expensive. It was, for my age, it was about $800, which was a lot of money still. Okay. Remember, I don't have a lot of money. But I was, due to determination, I was able to get through,
okay.
Get my license. In fact, I was very lucky where I went to do the clinicals, that nursing home. Okay. After they saw me who I was, how charming I was, how hard work I was, they gave me the job on the spot. So I was so lucky because it was close to the other house. Anyway, so I started doing nursing. And
so how long did you last in that job?
I tell you what, it was hard. I did the first year, I did work on the floors, and then the second year, the DON, who was the director of the nursing, I think he saw some quality and education in me, and asked me whether I can take a promotion and become a scheduler. So I started scheduling people to come to work. And I was a scheduler, but sometimes I work on the floor. I was trying, and that's when it became a little bit flexible to a point where I asked her, because I wanted to go back to school.
So what made that particular job very challenging?
It was very challenging. It was, first of all, there was a culture shock. The kind of patient care you give in this state. Remember, you have females and males as the patient. And for me, from the culture I was coming, it was very hard for me, or somebody like me, watching my mother, you know, or watching somebody who is the age of my mother. But it's a career, you know, it's a little bit challenging with the social dilemma, if I put it like that. But actually, if you go to see the dynamic of nursing, it's kind of challenging, and it gives you more opportunity to understand America. And I did do that. Then I started scheduling, and I was able to start going back to school. But the school was another thing, it was very expensive.
So which school did you end up going?
I started going to North Central State College, which was not far from there. They were offering a 3 years registered nursing degree, and I thought maybe I can, because I was working with the nurses in the same floor, and the job they were doing, I felt maybe that would be a better job for me. So I was arranging to go to school. I went in a private school, and it was very expensive because I was still considered as a migrant. So my school fees and the citizens here was very different. And I did the first term, and I had to take the pre-quest courses. That's another hindrance I came at. You had to take a lot of pre-quest courses because while I was back in Kenya, I did very good in high school and secondary school, and I got accepted in the Kenyatta University. But what I got in Kenyatta University, to me, is not what I wanted to do in my life.
And so what was it you wanted to do with
I wanted something to do with engineering.
Okay.
And in Kenya, and I think this is the biggest thing I never understood why even today, that when you, as a student, when you leave secondary school and you're going to university, you don't choose to what you take. They just tell, this is what you're taking, this is what you're taking. So when I went to Kenyatta University after the first year, then the second year there was layouts every time, I dropped out. I said, this is not for me. Yeah, and that's what I went to the tour.
So what did they want you to do when you went there?
They wanted me agriculture.
Okay.
And I was not fit for that because what my mind was, I wanted to do something with engineering.
Okay.
So it kind of opened my mind a little bit because that's when I was able, now I'm taking you back a little bit, I was able to go back to the tourism, and I went to Universal College. It was downtown Nairobi, and I was able to get my tourism diploma, and I started going to Alliance Française, taking my French.
Okay.
And
so you speak a little bit of French?
Yeah, je parle français. Je parle français. It was very interesting. I needed to do some languages because this is another career I felt like I can jump into. Okay. And the person who motivated for that was my cousin. He used to work for Pullman's. Okay. Remember Pullman's? It was a tour company. Okay. So I started working the airport. I got lucky. I started working the airport. I was not employed by anybody. I was a illegal porter there. So people would come in and I'll hustle. Because I had to pay for my college. Because now I dropped out and my mother didn't want to do anything with me. And that's how I ended up now starting selling insurance. Was this lady, she came to sell insurance to me in the airport. And she told me what she does and how much money she was making. So I was like, I can do that. And that's when I decided to go. I started with AAR. It was called African Air Rescue. It was owned by a British guy. I remember even today. And it was they did develop me to become a salesman. Okay. So when MediPlus came, I left AAR and I went to MediPlus. Okay. And that's when MediPlus, I was telling you now, I was able to engage with my boss, and I was able to come up with this package when I came to the United States.
Okay. So when you came to United States, would you be able to say that your expectations were met? Those that you had before coming?
Not really, okay. And yes, because United States, like I was telling, the social and economic economical challenges are there. But because of the ambition I had, when I was I started doing the nursing classes in North Central State. I figured there is no way I can pay this and live. It was very expensive. And there was one girl working with me in a nursing home, and I was telling her about my school fees, and we were comparing with what she was paying, because I realized she paid there was one class she paid $400, and they were charging me $1,100. I said, why are they charging you $400? And she said, well, that's what they charge for people who are outside the country, you pay more. But she did tell me something which triggered my head. She told me, did you know, but if you join the National Guard, they'll pay for your college. Okay. And I asked her, what is the National Guard? I didn't know what the National Guard was. And she said, well, I have a partner, she was joining the National Guard. I'll never forget that lady in my head. And she said she's joining the National Guard. And the following day we left work. I remember we had work first shift, and it was 2 o'clock. We went downtown at Mansfield. And we met the recruiter. It was Army recruiter. So I figured, it's joining the Army.
It's the same thing.
It's the Army.
Okay.
But I was like, there's no way I can join the Army. I tried to join the Army in Kenya. They couldn't take me because of my tooth. I had a problem with my teeth. And then the guy told me, no. All you need is your school diploma. I showed her that my school diploma, my college transcripts I was doing. They said, yep, yeah, we would like to have you, and this is the careers you could take, because I was not a citizen, so there's courses you could take. And the only thing I could take was the infantry. So I joined the infantry, and I was shipped to the boot camp.
So how long were you in the infantry?
I did serve after I joined. I did serve for 12 years. Okay. The first challenging was when I went to the boot camp. The Army do pay for your college, but when I went to the boot camp, when I came back, before I even had a chance to go back to school, I got deployed. So
Where were you deployed to?
I was deployed to Iraq for the first one, and I did a whole year, 12 months. And it was challenging because I was new. First of all, I was new in America. Now I come back from the boot camp. I'm trying to chase my dream. Yeah, I'm trying to chase my dream to go to school. And here I am in the other side of the world in Iraq. Anyway, my deployment went good for the first year. And then we came back home. And when we came back home, the unit I was supposed to be assigned with was getting deployed again. So I was like, I can't do this. So I did got 1 year between to go to school. Because remember, when I came to this country, September 11th just had happened. And so it was a calling for other people to join. So the Army was kind of busy. It was in a very busy transition. Yeah. So when I came back, I wanted a unit near my home so I can be able to attend school. And I switched from the infantry to the transportation unit, which was based in Mansfield. And I was able to go to school there. I attended Ohio State in Mansfield. I kind of forgot about the nursing now. Now I say that, you know what, I'm going to achieve my engineering dream.
Okay, see, I was going to ask, how did you end up then from going to Iraq and then
coming back? Now I have the funds. I said, you know what, the reason I wanted to join the Army was to pay for my college. So now I'm going to do my engineering. Okay. So I did start taking the classes in Ohio State. And in the transition of 1 year, I got deployed again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had to go back again and go to Iraq again, because now the transportation unit I was with, they're getting deployed. Okay. So I had to go to Iraq again for another year. This time was a little bit better because I had experience from the first deployment.
From the first one, yeah.
Deployment wasn't hard. The first deployment was a little bit challenging. First of all, I was new, I was green, and second, because of my accent and the people I was deployed with, was becoming very difficult. And sometimes I had to really work hard to myself to be able to accomplish my missions. Okay. Because sometimes you feel like you're getting discriminated, or we can understand what you say in the radio, or they try not to give you a promotion on a certain day because you're good, you're a little candidate, but they people stereotype.
Okay. So was that one of the hardships you had?
That was one hardship I had, and also segregation, I would say the truth. People did, not only the military, but when you come back home, like when I got married the first time, and the father of the woman I was getting married to didn't believe a black man can marry a white woman. And that was a very big challenge for me, because where I come from, I never saw that.
So how was that an eye-opening kind of experience?
It was kind of an eye-opening, to be honest with you, because now you realize you are somebody else in a different society, away from the country. And through the education, part of educating yourself and humbling yourself, it did help me and gave me more mileage to understand people. Because one day I was asking myself, if they think I have an accent, don't they think also
they have an
accent to me? Because to me, they sound like I have an accent. But like they say, you go to Caesar, do what Caesars do. So I had that background for me, and I just tried to assimilate with the society. It wasn't easy, I would say, but to the extent now, when my second deployment was done, I was able to deploy with people who were a little bit open. I have to come to say, people who have gone to school in this country, they do react different from the people who haven't gone to school. I came to interact with people who have attended college and lived in big cities, and they were more different than people who were coming from the rural areas, like I was living in Mansfield. So that kind of helped me to go through my second deployment. And
so how long did that? You said 1 year? Or
1 year. It was 1 year, and it was so funny because I came back. I remember I was missing my mom so much, and I had to go back to Kenya. I had to follow my daughter back to Kenya, and we had to do a little bit safari and meet my family, because that's the hardest also thing is you have family back home and you have family back here, and you are away from the country, and you're trying to adjust all those. You are trying to put that triangle together.
See, one of the things I wonder about is like, how do you therefore manage to navigate your way when you have family here and you have family
back in Kenya?
How do you navigate your way through that?
That's another. The best thing I learned from the military was that they give the access for calling. We use calling a lot. They have what they call the SOS, and they have MWS, men and women recreation. And in those recreation places, if you engage yourself when you're deployed, they had ways of calling back home. I was able to call back home. I was able to get in touch with family in Kenya. In fact, my first deployment in Iraq, I lost my brother, my oldest brother. So I had to fly from Iraq
to go to Kenya.
To Kenya, bury my brother, and come back to the war. That was a little bit challenging. I forgot to mention that.
Was he your older or younger brother?
That was my older brother.
Okay.
I loved him so much, and he was my older brother. Then, my second deployment also to Iraq again, I lost another brother.
Wow.
So I still had to go back again in Kenya
and deal with that,
and then go back to war. Okay. And when I came back, I was a little bit fortunate. I had a small gap of 2 years when I got back, and I was doing my taxes back. My neighbor, I was very good in math, and my neighbor, you remember the turbo tax when it came up?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, when turbo tax came up, my neighbor Steve, his name was Steve, he came up, and I was doing my taxes, doing turbo taxes. He said, "Hey Harrison, you can do taxes." I said, "Yeah, you just buy this package. It's easy. You don't have to pay nobody." Okay. It was costing like $24 when it came out, $24, and then you upload it in your computer and you do taxes, and it's all math. So I was very good in math, so I knew how to do it. And he said, "You think you can do my taxes?" I said, "Yeah, go bring your W-2 forms."
And so you helped him do them?
Yeah, I helped him do it, but I was surprised because when Steve brought me his W-2 forms, he had made $110,000. I said, "Steve, what do you do?" That's when he told me he's a locomotive engineer. He drives trains. And I said, "Hey, can I get a job like this?"
So that's how you got into working.
That's how I got to the train, because he
so
told me the company he was working for, and he told me, "Harrison, having the military background and your education, if you apply, they'll hire you." And it's true. I applied. And that time I had left nursing. I was not doing nursing.
So had you finished your college at Ohio State when you were applying to work?
No, I hadn't finished. I was still going to college. In fact, I had a new job there. I was investigator for the county now.
Okay.
So I was investigating for children's services, and that's also was an eye opener because you got, when you're an investigator for the county, I was able to go to people's house, see how they live, and everything else. It was a very challenging job. And in doing that, that's when I came to apply for the other level job, and they hired me, and I did it they sent me to school, they training. They're very courteous. It's a very good company to work for, I would say that. They sent me to school in Georgia. I had to go and start doing what the conductors they do, everything else. You don't start as an engineer, you start as a conductor through the switches. But as time goes by, they take you back to school and do your engineering. But I was so happy now I got a something I can make a living, and at the same time now utilize my school. But when I came back from the school from the Norfolk Southern, I went back to work, and I was working, and soon I just got marked up. I got deployed again to Afghanistan. Wow. This is my third deployment now. And I was like, okay, what do you want with me? Sometimes you start asking myself what's going on in my life. And it's right there, I made determination. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to this deployment full force. And the jobs, I came to learn a lot of jobs involved. I didn't know how to go and get my engineer degree because my foot was already in. And what you've been trained in the army is actually sometimes gives you more mileage than going to college. So that's why I made the decision when I came back with I did my diploma in Afghanistan. I came back and I started working with my company. And that was 2010. And then 2011, 2012, they sent me to engine school. Engineer school, and it's you go there for like 6 months.
So is this still Ohio State, or is it with a different?
Well, this is with the Norfolk Southern, the company I work for. So they sent me to back to Atlanta to the engineer. Like I was watching the other day in Kenya, and they have the Chinese people training them how to drive the train. So those are the things you learn how to do. So, and it was fascinating because I was seeing when the SGR in Kenya was being built. I'm like, this is what I do. So maybe this is what I can go back home and do, but I didn't.
Well, we need expatriates to go to
Exactly. I was looking at it, like, actually there's a time they wanted the expatriates to go, but they hadn't finished the SGR yet. And I was looking at it like, they're getting trained by those guys. I can train them to go. I train people how to drive the train. Because when I went to school, I became better, and when I came back, I have so much experience now. So the new people who are going to engine school, they come back and we had to train them for 6 months. In fact, I just got done training one guy in my job again. And so taking back a little bit, then 2014, then that's why I decided I got married again. I got divorced 2011, and I got married again, and went back to Kenya. And my wife, you met my wife here. We came here, and we decided to move from Mansfield now to Columbus. And that's why we came down here. This is my house. We bought a house here in Ortangi because we like the school system here now.
Good.
And,
so one of the things I wonder about is like if you could tell us a little bit, like if there is one thing that was very transformative to you. Yeah, if you look back, is there anything that you can be able to recall that was very transforming in your life after coming now to the United States?
Yeah, after coming to the United States, I had
like a memorable event.
Events, yeah. I remember like when I came to America, the first thing I thought, when we are back home, you come here and you hear somebody saying they make $10 or $20 an hour, and you're doing that calculation, how much money that is, and you're like, man, I can bust myself, work 10 hours, I'll be a millionaire within 3 months. But that's not the reality. When I came down in America, when I started working, my first check, I almost was ecstatic. What's going on here? Because I knew I had made $1,500, but they gave me a check of $600. So I went to my HR. I remember that day when we went back to my human resources. I said, well, something is wrong with my check. He said, let me get a look at it. And he was looking at my pay, and he showed me something we call the federal taxes, the state taxes, the city taxes. And I was like, Because when I was in Kenya, I did pay taxes, but it was only 10% of what I earned because I was a salesman. But there was no federal taxes, and there's no state taxes, and there's city taxes. We had what we call the VAT they added on the thing. So that's always a culture shock. And also now, you're thinking that the concept, and I was so tired. I was working, I remember, 12 hours a day, just trying to make it because I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I had to pay this. And that's hit me, that was a reality hit me hard. And I was like, you know what? Leading these people, you can work yourself to death. And it has given me a good transformation now to understand the concept about this country. People might think we make a lot of money in this country, but it's not really compared to how much taxes we pay, how life is here. It's not really. And also, what it has shown me here is people work too hard.
That's true.
I think we work too hard. Like, I'll be honest with you, when I was working there in the nursing home or I was investigator, you want to get 15 minutes lunch break. So you have to carry something you can snack quickly for 15 minutes. Well, I remember when I was in Kenya, I'll go for lunch for an hour. You know what I mean? We have an hour for lunch and
you leave your jacket on the chair.
Yeah, weekend off, there's no weekends here, it's like my job, I'll be honest with you. I get 2 days off a week, but it's every other week is different.
So was that one of the most challenging experiences you had, or if you can?
That's one of the most challenging one of it. Second one was people being able to integrate with the society.
Okay.
Because you're coming to a different society, the understanding is very different. And there's sometimes things they say, it comes rude to you. And things they do.
Can you be maybe specific, like what
Yeah,
kind of things
I'll tell you one. I was in school, when I was in Ohio State, we were taking classes, and we took a class called the Women's Study. It was one of the prerequisites I had to take. And we were the only 2 guys in that class. The rest were opposite sex females. And when we were sitting down there, you had to explain, basically what the class was teaching you was about how people stereotype others, how people are discriminated. And we got an argument with my professor because he was saying we had a discussion about gay people and heterosexual people, and they were trying to compare that with how you get discrimination from being your color. And I was trying to explain, I don't disagree with that except one thing. To me, it was that time I was looking at it is a choice for you to choose your sex. You can be heterosexual today and tomorrow decide, well, I want to be gay, I want to be lesbian, whatever. But color, I didn't choose myself. This is my color. So I was trying to tell him, or the professor and he was trying to compose us together, and I was like, no way.
But there are people who would say gay people don't choose to be gay.
That's exactly where the concept was coming. But I had a hard time with it because I was trying to say, people discriminated me because I was trying to say I've been discriminated before, because they asked me, have you ever been discriminated before? And I said, yes. In my face, I've been called every word, nigga, Like one guy told me when I said I had an car accident in Kenya, he said, you don't mean a car, you mean a camel. And I said, yeah, it's a camel. Like sarcastically I said, yeah, it's a camel. Because if he thinks we can't drive cars in Kenya, that's why I said, yeah, it's a camel. So that's challenge I had. It did open me to more acceptable to the society. Although I still had disagreement that being discriminated because of being color. But after long though, the professor came back to me, we were able to sit down with a forum and we came to agree to that part. So other than that, I don't think I had anything more challenging than that.
Okay. Now, is it possible to now say that you have been able to achieve the dream that you had, or that vision you had for yourself when you left Kenya to come to the United States?
The dream, I can say no, but the achievement, yes. You always dream. I always dream to go back home.
Okay.
I would say that was big, challenging. I still consider Kenya my home.
Okay.
And it's very challenging now because like I have kids here born here now. I'd like to go. If I still got 14 more years, 15 more years to retire.
I don't know.
I got 14 more years to retire.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, but once I retire, I'd like to go and enjoy my retirement back home. I'd like to help society, integrate with the society, do something with society around there. I still involved in Kenya. We do missionary work in Kilogoya, and we help. I have done a lot of helping in my area with my mom side and trying to transit the village my mom moved to, because we were born in the city and we moved in a village in Sagana. So that's what my dream would like to be. Things I miss so much, like back home, is food. Food is very different, and it's unfortunate that we have to do that, and then you miss the people you were born with. I think they say bread is thicker than water, and I think I've come to understand the truth about it. You miss your family. It's a sacrifice, I would say, but at the same time also it opens your mind and gives you. Remember when we left Kenya? When I left Kenya, it was during a different era. I say, and I don't like politics. I'm not in politics, but that time the only thing you knew, you had never had hope. Yeah, you never knew what tomorrow brings.
Okay.
Even when you wanted to achieve something, you knew there were so many graduates. You graduate, but you don't get a job.
But someone would say, like, for someone like you who came from Kenya and you followed your dream, you are now an engineer with Norfolk Southern Corporation, that you have achieved a significant.
Yeah, I have achieved. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
The dream, no, but I said I have achievement. Yes, I have achieved something which I was gearing to the engineering, and I really love it so much. I would like to get more to the level of maybe even becoming like an operating officer in railroad.
Okay, so let's say you are talking to some of our younger Kenyan young men and women who have the desire to come to the United States. What one thing or advice would you give them about life here in this country?
I'll say that's a good question, Julie, you asked me, because it also depends with the age people are coming here. And I have it in my family going through that, and my brother wanted to come here, and I had to sit down with my brother and I looked at it and said, I think you do better in Kenya than the United States, and there was a reason for that.
Okay, so because what reason were you giving him when you're telling him?
Because what people don't understand in this country, they think you can come here, you start making money, you're gonna be rich, you're gonna be this. There's so many obstacles in this country. First of all, you can come to this country, you have to have a social security number to work.
Okay.
You have to have a sponsor too. Okay, I couldn't sponsor my brother, come down here. The schools are very expensive. So we compare the school here and the school in Kenya. He went and became a mechanical aircraft mechanic in the school in Kenya. And it's good. Now the only problem we are having is him getting a job. So vice versa now. What I advise young Kenyans, yes, there's jobs in this country, but you gotta know which field you're going. Do you want a job, you're just making a job, a living, or you want a job you can achieve? So if it's coming here, you gotta be prepared for that. Second, the social. You are coming to a different society, so you gotta know what kind of society you're coming to. Do your what do you call it? Research.
Research, yeah.
Yeah, do a field study before you come here. And then the second thing, compare. Would I get the same kind of education in Kenya at a low cost before you come here? Because basically most of the people come here because of education. And the only reason, the only difference is that you can work and go to school here. You cannot. It's very hard to Kenya to work and go to school. The second thing is opportunities. I don't know when I say opportunities here. Here people struggle. There's a lot of people don't have jobs. Or you can get a job, but it doesn't pay. Because here you can get a job tomorrow, it pays you $10 or $9 an hour. Life here is very expensive. Apartment here, just to have apartment, we are talking about Columbus, $900, $1,000 a month. So if you're making $9, it's not going to make you live what you want. Do you understand?
Exactly, yeah.
You have to pay federal taxes, state taxes. So it looks like it sounds like a lot of money. It's not. So those are the things I would like to advise young people. I don't want to kill their dream. If they want to maybe finish college down there and they want to come do masters here, I'd say this is a very good country to come do masters or higher education than
undergraduate.
It's a graduate. But always remember where you're coming from, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve. Because I believe right now there's a lot of jobs in Kenya, but they need very high education. And I think that segment, if we can seal that segment, people knowing coming here, seal that segment, like I'm going to achieve this, go back. Because this country, you can come here and get carried out with a lot of stuff.
And that's very true.
Or you can come here, if you have a vision, you can achieve it.
It's that simple.
That's it.
So your advice is have a vision.
Have a vision.
Think positive.
Think positive.
And you can achieve your dream.
And do your field study before you step to something.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Kimani.